Well, it seems like that it was a hit or miss day today for the most part, as I've already been looking throughout the chat, and I can already see that some people did receive some rainfall today. Some people did receive some rainfall today. I will say today at my house, it actually was pretty nice. I mean, it was cloudy out. Winds are blowing a little bit right now, but for the most part, it was a pretty dry, nice day today. So that was pretty much the whole theme of today, especially if you went to the forecast this morning and even last night. That's what I said. Today was going to be a hit or miss storm day. See what happened with that severe weather, and it seemed like that's pretty much what happened. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to continue to talk about how it's going to continue to dry up and it's going to continue to be mild. Elevated fire weather conditions as we go into tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, elevated fire weather conditions with that cold front coming through, and also it's going to be a bit breezy. That's going to cause some fire weather concerns tomorrow. Cold front midweek, Wednesday into Thursday, bringing scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, and warming trends all the way through the weekend with above normal temperatures, highs potentially even reaching the low 90s. All of that we're going to talk about. So if you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. So what's currently going on throughout the state of South Carolina? Well, right now it is nice and dry for the majority of us. Actually, for pretty much all of us, we are dry right now. No rainfall going on throughout the entire state. But if we scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., which I'm going to go on and get rid of some of these, obviously, because I do see that they are cluttering up the map a good little bit. I got rid of a couple of them right there, and then any sort of wind ones, we're going to go in and get rid of these. Because these are seeming to be, again, just clogging up the map a little bit. Well, it's a bit better. There's some more freezing stuff going on there. But we do, in fact, have some rainfall going on, especially down there inside Louisiana, going on down here inside of Mississippi, also inside of Florida. And then we also have some rainfall up here inside the Northeast. Rainfall from New York going on over here inside of Pennsylvania. Everybody else, I mean, maybe except for South Dakota, Minnesota, North Dakota, parts of Wyoming, and Idaho, everybody else seems pretty good. Pretty good. Now, what about for our cloud cover? Cloud cover right now seems to be just more kind of just there, but not too there. If that makes sense. I pretty much am just saying a 50-50 right now. Because if we go in and look at it, which, oops, that looks very different. But you pretty much, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at cloudy conditions that are there, but we're also seeing a couple of clear spots here or there that's kind of trying to take up the state. But you see some up there in the upstate, the Midlands, the Low Country, the Grand Strand, the PD areas. So cloud cover is going on. And if we look at our cloud cover for the future, we go in and push this forward. What do we see? Cloud cover, but with clear spots. Watch as we go into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Watch as we get into Wednesday. Wednesday comes along and things definitely seem to try and clear up a lot. But watch we get into Wednesday afternoon. Cloud cover continuing to push its way over into the east. And cloud cover now going to try and get back in the state as we go into Wednesday. But watch as you go into Wednesday morning. Cloud cover is trying to get out. Current temperatures right now, we're talking about 73 Somerville, 72 Charleston, as well as 75 in Beaufort, 71 Orangeburg, and 68 in Georgetown, 67 Merle's Inland, and 64 in Conway, Florence, 68 Columbia, 65 in Newberry, 65 Lawrence in Greenville, as well as 62 in Spartanburg, 60 in York and Rock Hill, as well as 61 in Gaffney, 68 in Clemson. Air quality looks okay. We do have a lot of moderate activity going on. Augusta, Greenwood, going on throughout most of the Low Country, pretty much all the Grand Strand, the PD areas. But we do have some goods. Columbia, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, these areas are all inside that good category, and even parts of the Western Low Country are also included inside of that good category for tonight. So if you're in the yellow and you're going to be out there tonight, make sure that you are aware and make sure that you're paying attention to that air quality. Now, what about for our low temperatures for tonight? 40s, 50s, and 60s. 49 in Rock Hill, 50, Spartanburg, 53, Greenville, 56, Columbia, 53, Camden, Newberry, 55, Sumter, 56 inside of Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, 56, Moncks Corner, 61, Charleston, 57, Orangeburg, Walterboro, 65, Hilton Head Island. And then for our high temperatures for tomorrow, we're seeing 70s and 80s, 71, Myrtle Beach, 73 in Georgetown, 75, Charleston, 77, Walterboro, 79 in Orangeburg, 80, Columbia, 79 in Aiken, 77, Newberry, 76 in Winsboro, 76, Rock Hill, and 75 in Greenville, 76, also inside of Spartanburg. Now, in terms of our rainfall is kind of looking more towards the low country, more towards that southern Midland area, and that is for the next 24 hours. So 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch for areas in the state. And then somebody may even see a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch. You see Hilton Head Island, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch. Now, what about for the SPC outlook? Yes, we technically still have this marginal risk of severe weather. But if we're going to give it a refresh, let me check it out. The marginal risk is now gone. So I love how they go on and just update it now when I just start. So now, instead of them updating it at around 8 o'clock or so, nope, they update it at 9 o'clock p.m. as soon as I do my thing. So I'm going to have to update it every single time we start. So, just obviously love that that's the time that they chose. But the marginal risk is gone. It's no longer here. No chance of severe weather for tonight. And thunderstorms technically are still possible. You can see the light green down there. That is for the ingredients are there. If the convection gets going, you never know what could happen. And now as we go into tomorrow, it does look like that tomorrow still no risk of any sort of thunderstorms. But watch out Wednesday. Wednesday comes along and we have another risk of some thunderstorms as you go into Wednesday. So just make sure that you're aware, make sure that you are paying attention, and that you have your storm plans in place just in case if worse does come to worse. But we're not expecting that. Fire weather is not expected. Technically, it's not expected, even though fire weather conditions could get a bit not out of control, but could get a bit interesting tomorrow due to the cold front, the breezy condition, the low relative humidity. It's not enough to necessarily put us in any sort of elevated or critical or extremely critical concerns. And excessive rainfall, we're not seeing anything here either, all the way through days 1 through 5. So now what about the crazy score? If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at an 11. Why? Well, cloudy conditions are getting here. We're mostly seeing cloudy conditions, so that's why we're not in that 16 to 30 range yet, because there still are some clear spots here and there. But that maybe a little bit of wind. I mean, I heard like one pretty significant gust earlier outside my house, but that's the only thing I really felt. I didn't see anything else or feel anything else. Max wind gust today, I believe I saw was around 20 miles per hour. And then just in terms of temperatures are doing pretty well, but nothing significant tonight. So let's go on now and look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to that, because if you lose track of where we are, it's going to be kind of hard to try and find and see where we're at. So just make sure that you're keeping it on that time. So we're going to start off here with the short-term models, and just as we start off here at around 9 o'clock p.m., we go on and push this forward. Yes, I mean, you technically still see a couple of isolated showers up there in the upstate according to the models. They've had them there since like 6 p.m., but again, this was last updated at around 3 o'clock or so. If you obviously go on and look at the more recent one, the 0Z, obviously there's nothing up there now. And if we go on and push this forward all the way through into tonight, you still could technically see a couple little isolated showers up there inside of the Midlands, but they're not really going to do much at all. And then watch as we get into tomorrow morning. This is 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're starting to see some showers starting to move up into the north, up into the low country areas a little bit. Then once we move here to around 9 o'clock in the morning still, moving into that lower low country. Going back to the 18Z here. There we go. Going back here to the 18Z, I mean, you can still see it kind of going on, but it doesn't really push too much further north than the lower low country. Once it gets to that lower low country, it doesn't go up as far north anymore. Kind of just stays there. And then watch it get into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, getting into Wednesday, going into like more like mid morning now. We're starting to see some showers start to move in from Georgia, moving east into South Carolina now at that point in time, going on to around 1 to 2 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday. So we are seeing for sure some shower activity. Is it the most? No, definitely not. If we go on and see how much rainfall we're expecting as we go throughout the next 40 hours or so, total QPF, I mean, it's not a lot. You know, you see if this does also kind of include a little bit of today, but you saw around maybe close to an inch near some of these coastal areas. You see in the upstate, max 0.2. You see over here in the low country, maybe half an inch or so near the coastal areas, but it's not a lot, and it's more scattered and isolated than anything. Nothing widespread. Nothing widespread. And if you go to the official forecast from the actual Weather Prediction Center, this is showing how much rainfall we could potentially receive over the next 48 hours. And what do they show? They don't show much at all. Do not show much at all for the next 48 hours. So honestly, I think that we just need to go on and continue to watch for it, continue to hope for this rainfall, because honestly, the more that we sit here and the more that we try to wait on this rainfall, the more that the drought's going to expand, the more that drought's going to have time to try and settle in a lot more. So we need this rainfall. Need this rainfall. Even if we go into the next 5 days or so, still not a whole bunch. We can even go 7 days out into the future. Still not a whole lot. So that's why I said yesterday, when I said that it was going to be a below average precipitation week, this is why. What happens if we go even further into the future? Well, let's go all the way into Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Still not a whole lot. Wednesday going into Thursday, you know, we'll see a little bit of a cold front, but those showers aren't looking as prominent as they were earlier. I mean, they were showing a good little bit of rainfall as we go Wednesday into Thursday due to that cold front, but now as we move more and more into the future, we're not really seeing that anymore. Even if you go into Thursday, going into Friday, going into Saturday a little bit, you see some rainfall going on through here, but again, it's not a whole lot. Sunday, we have some more rainfall moving through. Some beneficial rainfall tries to get through, but definitely not a lot. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. It's not really until we get into around Thursday of next week that we really start to see some good rainfall moving. Watch this active period right here. We get into Thursday, May the 21st. Look how much rainfall we're starting to get here. Watch it as we get into next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Saturday here, the 24th, the 25th. Looking a whole lot better here. Looking a whole lot better in terms of rainfall. And then as we go all the way through into the last week of May, another high pressure may try to take over, but cold fronts definitely are not done. Definitely, they are not done. Now, in terms of how much rainfall we could see over the next 300 to 400 hours, according to the GEFS, it's saying right now maybe around an inch or so, maybe an inch and a half. But that's maximum of what the GEFS is saying right now. And this is the members, so obviously this is a mean right now. So this is the average. And if we go on and look at the European as we go throughout the next 360 hours or so, they have around an inch and a half, maybe close to 2 inches for some spots. But again, that's where it's maxing out at, around an inch and a half, 2 inches or so over the next 300 to 400 hours. That will definitely not be enough to get rid of this drought. Definitely will not be enough. Now, what about for our temperatures for the future? Well, we're going to start off here as we go into tonight and then watch as we go into tomorrow, Wednesday. That cold front's going to move through, bring us some cooler temperatures. Expected. We go all the way into Thursday, going into Friday, and even into Saturday a little bit, and we still see some cooler temperatures trying to get going. Now, watch as we go into the weekend. Saturday comes along, warmer temperatures start to really get their way through. And then once we get into Sunday, look at this, 12, 13, 14, 15 degrees above average now as we get into Sunday. This weekend, we move into next week. Still, more warmer temperatures are getting going. And so this is where we're going to start to see our 90s come into play. What's on tap? What did I say? It says warming trend through the weekend with above normal temperatures, highs potentially reaching the low 90s. That is exactly what's going to happen, and I feel pretty confident about that. I do. I do. We move into Wednesday, going into Thursday, still warmer temperatures try to prevail for much of the week next week. Much of the week. Said yesterday, if you are a 90s type of person, no, I'm not talking about the year of the 90s, I'm talking about the temperatures. If you're a 90s fan, you definitely will enjoy next week. If you're not, you may not enjoy next week. But, as we know, cold air doesn't just go away, and it may try to impact us a little bit, but it's definitely not a lot as warm temperatures continue to dominate. So I will say this. We've been in this cooler pattern. But what did I say a couple of days ago? I said that the first half of the month was going to be a bit cooler. The second half of the month was going to be warmer. And it's looking like right now that that possibly could be happening right now. I mean, we're already seeing it for next week. Let's see if it continues. And if we go in and look at this, if we go in and look at these actual temperatures, so actual temperatures, we see around 70s going into tomorrow, 80s potentially. Wednesday, more 80s coming along. And then we get a little bit of a cool down. Obviously, we know midweek cold front's going to come through, cool everything down. We get into Friday, going into Saturday, more 80s coming along. Then as we move all the way into Sunday, there goes the 90s. We're seeing high 90s. Yes, I mean, this is Sunday right here, May the 17th. High 90s coming into effect here as we go into this weekend. We go into Monday. Monday, what are we seeing here? More 90s coming into play. Tuesday come along, more 90s next week. Wednesday of next week, more 90s. Thursday, what do we see? Oh, more 90s? Yes, absolutely. Friday comes along, not as many, so it does seem like we'll be cooling down. Remember, I said some cool air may try to infiltrate a little bit. But I will say it won't last long. As we get into Monday the 25th, it may still be up into the 90s a little bit. And to show you how I'm not the only one talking about this and how I'm not the only one that's seeing this, if we go to the ensembles as well, the ensembles bring in that mean temperature. It brings all of the temperatures from all the different members together and average them up. Even the members, even the averages are showing in the high 80s. High 80s averages, not just, one model. Averages of around 50 models or so, averaging out to around the high 80s. So that's a pretty good sign right there, that we're going to see 90s as we continue throughout next week. And potentially, even as we go into the week after next week as well. And so that's pretty much what I have to say for the long-term future in terms of temperatures. There is one more thing I can show just in case. This is the CPC right here. CPC, this shows what's going to happen in terms of our temperatures for the future and for the next 6 to 10 days. For the next 6 to 10 days, you can see here that even the Climate Prediction Center is saying it will be warmer than average for the next 6 to 10 days. And we can even move on even further. What about the next 8 to 14 days? Still above average. So, like Mr. Chris says, wow, looks like shorts are coming out. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Mr. Chris was here first. He says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Well, I am. Thank you so much for that. Maya Lou also says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hopefully everyone had a great day. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It is free. Helps the channel grow. Absolutely. We've had, pretty good likes tonight. We've had 11 people tune in and 10 likes. So attendance-wise, we're doing pretty good. But if YouTube's somehow glitching and you still haven't even hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Mr. Michael says, good evening, South Carolina. Hopefully everyone enjoys a wonderful night of rest. Well, thank you so much for that. Same to you. Mr. Chris says, got you around 84 here in Moncks Corner. Currently, it's around 70. At my house right now, it is currently 73. Winds, or No, that was 30 minutes ago. Let me go in and refresh this. Right now it's 71. 71. And I see winds gusting around, 7, 8, 9 miles an hour right now. High temperatures for me today was around 88. Yes, 88. Now, what about continue down all the way? Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Thad says, good evening, just from the 360 Weather family. Good evening to you. I trust all is well. My Nana says, hello, Jane all. Hello to you. And then Milo says, Georgetown started out cloudy today, but around 3:30 p.m. things went from bad to worse, heavy rainfall and lots of wind. So that's why I was saying earlier about that whole hit or miss situation because, like I said, at my house, we only got around a trace. I see a trace of rainfall today. What's a trace? Well, less than 100th of an inch, but it still rained. It only rained for about 2 minutes, and it was about, I believe, around like 3 hours ago or so that little bit of rainfall tried to move through. Let me see. Around 6:50 p.m., so a little bit less than 3 hours ago. That says it was a beautiful day here in San Antonio. We got some really good rainfall last evening. Glad to hear that. Man says a nice warm day. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. Mr. Chris also says no rain here in Monk's Corner, just lots of clouds and wind. Then Maya Lewis says the storm didn't last long, about 20 minutes, and the sun came out beautifully. That says it was much needed, even if it lasted only for a few minutes. Maya Lewis says our high was around 84. Currently, we're at 67. And then Trail says marvelous Monday, everyone. Well, thank you so much for that. Marvelous Monday to you. And that's all that I can see here throughout the entire chat. So we'll come back to it. If you want to go in and leave something inside the chat, you can. But it's time for our top fan question of the night. Top fan question of the night. This one's going to be kind of specific. If you get, if it looks like that everybody's off, then I may go on and give a little hint. But this one's going to be kind of a hard one. You need to be here for when we were talking about the high temperatures for tomorrow. Because I want to know the location that I called out that's going to have the lowest high temperatures for tomorrow. The lowest high temperature for tomorrow that's actually on the map. So, obviously there are areas that, up there in the mountains, obviously, but I didn't call any of those out. So, what area did I call out that was going to have the lowest high temperature? Again, it's a pretty hard one. Pretty hard one. You got to be paying attention. But anything is fair game. Anything is. But let's go on now and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas? What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first. We have low temperatures tonight at around 64, high temperature for tomorrow at around 86, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 67. In terms of precipitation, none of that's expected at this time. Again, none is expected at this time. And then in terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, none of that's expected either. Now for your future, it does look like that you will continue to stay dry until maybe around Saturday night. Saturday night you have around a 20% chance of showers and storms. But before then, it's going to be nice and dry. We're talking about 90 as you continue throughout the rest of the week. 91 on Thursday, 92 on Friday, Saturday 92, Monday of next week at 90 still. So you're going to continue to stay nice and hot. Then for Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at 45, high temperature for tomorrow at around 75, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 53. Precipitation not expected at this time. No severe weather for you, not expected either. No excessive rainfall. Next chance of rainfall will be Wednesday going to Wednesday night. Wednesday night, you have a 90% chance of rainfall. Then if we go on and take a look at our temperatures for the future, temperatures will also continue to kind of go down or kind of just stay the same more than likely. Wednesday, you'll have a high of around 80, but you're going to kind of stay in the 70s. But watch as you go into this weekend, 87 on Saturday, 92 on next week, Monday. So it's going to be a very, very hot weekend and just a huge warming trend for you. Same thing with South Carolina. All right, let's go ahead and check out the answers, see what we have. Maya Lou says, was it Georgetown at 59? That was Well, no. You might be referencing the low temperature. The low temperature for Georgetown was around 56. I don't need the exact temperature. I don't need the exact temperature. I just need the area. Mr. Chris said, if I remember correctly, was Spartanburg? No, it was not Spartanburg. And it was not Columbia. Not Columbia. I will say, I'm going to give a hint. It's on the eastern half of the state, not on the western half. It was on the eastern half. Remember, I'm talking about the lowest high temperature, not the lowest low temperature of like tonight. I'm talking about the lowest high temperature. The lowest high temperature. No, not Greenville. The eastern half of the state. So let's go on real quick and talk about these last two. Philadelphia, Duncan. Low temperatures tonight for Philadelphia, 47. High temperature for tomorrow at 69. Then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 51. No precipitation is expected at this time for you. And no severe weather is as well. So it looks like that you're in the clear there. In terms of your future, next chance of rainfall will probably be around Wednesday night, Thursday. 100% chance of rainfall already. Already on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, 40%. Wednesday, 60%. So Wednesday through Thursday, it's going to be pretty active. After that, though, I mean, it's going to be dry for the rest of the week going into early next week. Temperatures will also continue to kind of just be around those 60, 70 area. And then watch as you go into Friday into the weekend, you're going to start reaching back up into the 80s again. Back up into the 80s. No, it is not Hilton Head Island. It's actually to the north of Hilton Head Island, maybe a bit more to the north and east, maybe a bit more to the north and east. Then for Duncan, the final area with low temperatures tonight at 55, high temperature for tomorrow at 84, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 60. Precipitation not expected at this time. Next chance of rainfall for you will be around Friday night, so you got a long ways to go there. Temperatures will also continue to climb up more and more. On Friday, you're seeing a high around 91, but then you'll kind of just sustain around the 80s or so, 85 as you go into Monday. Now, severe weather-wise, Saturday, you do have a slight risk of severe weather already. Yes, a slight risk of severe weather already. That is for Saturday. So just make sure that you are taking a look at it. No, it's not Georgetown. Just make sure that you're taking a look at it and, having your severe weather plans in place on Saturday, May the 16th. That is just because the threats there, they're not completely defined yet, but as we get more and more into the future, we're going to continue to go on and check it out for you, continue to keep you updated. But Saturday, this weekend, may be a pretty active one in terms of severe weather. So just make sure that you're aware. No, it is not Beaufort. It is not Beaufort. Jumping all over the place. It is on the eastern half. Okay, let me just eliminate another one. It's not in the Midlands, and it's not in the Low Country. It's in the more PD Grand Strand area. It was more inside of the PD Grand Strand area. But hold on, wait a minute. Are you guessing Myrtle Beach? It says I saw that was guessed Myrtle Beach. Oh, okay. Yes, it was Myrtle Beach. Yes. Yes, that's correct. Myrtle Beach was the area was with the lowest high temperature for tomorrow. You can see right there at the bottom right now. You can see Myrtle Beach 71. That was the answer. So that's for tomorrow. Mr. Chris, congratulations to you for getting it correct. So, you win top fan of the night for tonight. We had some honorable mentions, Trail being there, my Aunt Lula being there, and then also Thad as well. So, congratulations to the 4 of y'all for contributing tonight. And I mean heavily, like multiple chats coming through. And that's pretty much all. So if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, the subscribe button, we're at 732, trying to get to 800. And then also share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly, because it's free. It is absolutely free, and they can go on and tune in, try and compete with top fan of the night. Love to see some more competition in here. But that's all. I'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you're there. Also tomorrow evening with your Tuesday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Monday.